then when do you think that the professional education in music and the general education in music do separate? In what age in general?
Now, with instrument players, about the 10th years, it is already to see which one can be and should be become a professional, because his manual and bodily and all gifts are then clearly to see. And then after 14, they may go over to a special music school to be built to a professional. But as to 14, I mean, everybody should be on the same level in music.
Yes. Now, what material do you use or you advocate using? And
for the beginning, is the best that natural singing of the child, what he learned from his surrounding, and what he added from his own improvising and composing ability. The next step would be the folk songs. Each country has its own folk songs, which are gives a very rich material to the most different moods and styles. Later on, if the native folk song is exhausted, can be gone over to folk songs of other peoples.
Of other countries.
Other countries. First the neighbor countries, and later on also far distant countries, because as many great musicians said already, the best mean to know people is his folk song. And then gradually the big music is introduced. Very many easy pieces of Haydn and Mozart are very much accessible to every child without a special musical training. The big classics, the great classics, are always fairly related to the folk song of their own country. So Haydn to Austrian.
Yes. Beethoven to German.
Yes. And so from the folk song background, the jump is very easy to the great classical music. Whereas the so-called light music gives never a transition to the big classic music. It is entirely separated. Yes. They come never together in the same channel. The great classic is a natural continuation of folk song.
Now, when it comes to the contemporary composer, how do you see his role in creating up-to-date contemporary material for the purpose which we are discussing?
Now at first he must adapt himself to the language of the children. To speak to children, you must know their language. And he can only slowly and very cautiously introduce his own personality without remaining to the child an incomprehensible stranger.
Yes.
He must first speak the language of the children, and slowly he can teach them his own language later. But anyway, contemporary music can follow only after the great classics, not before, as some people means. To let out entirely the great classics and to begin with contemporary music is quite foolish idea. The natural development must be followed also in this.
Being primarily interested in the instrumental end of it, for instance, Bartók's Mikrokosmos for the instrumental beginner.
No, he has very many different styles in the microcosmos. That use exclusively the microcosmos is the danger that the child can no more understand Haydn and Mozart.
Yes.
I think microcosmos must go later, or at least parallel with the other music, yes. Anyway, microcosmos is very good to know other people's style, because there are always a lot of foreign people's style,
yes,
consciously imitated and introduced. But then also it's better to take the original means. Since the child, as it a commonplace, must go over the development of the race. So for the child, the best is the style and motive of very primitive people. Lastly, I found a collection of Aino songs, and I will make from them a little series of two-part songs for the very beginners, because I see that these Aino motifs from the pentatonic, or even only with 3 or 4 notes melodic, they are just the style that suits the best the child of every country, because man is finally a unique type, and the many national difference makes no, how to say, in spite of national differences, there is a unity in man, yes, always.
Basically the same.
Basically the same. And so that, especially in the beginning, every child is a primitive man, so to say.
Yes.
And the primitive music is the best for them. And slowly they can develop to his national specialty, and later on to know the national specialties of other nations.